Well, God is good.
All the time.
And all the time?
God is good.
Well done. Good job. All right. Well, thank you all for coming out on this really, honestly, lovely Monday night where the weather is really nice. We are extra special blessed tonight in our church to have a special guest with us. You may remember this year we had something we called Christmas Eve service. We did. We had one. And at our service, one of the things we did is we took an offering for some amazing work that's being done through the Eastern Angola and United Methodist Annual Conference. And it's a place that I've been blessed to travel back in 2012 to see firsthand a lot of the work that is being done there. Since that time, the work has expanded and grown thanks to the United Methodist Church. And one of the ways that it's grown is we've welcomed a couple additional missionaries to the work. And so one of the missionaries we've welcomed to the work is with us today, Ken Koome. And Ken has a very important job through our General Board of Global Ministries. So the General Board of Global Ministries is one of those agencies that we support through our church and through all of our churches working together. They do all kinds of amazing projects all around the world. And one of the things they do is they send missionaries various places to do important jobs. So Ken is one of those missionaries they send there. He is the financial officer for all of the projects that receive the funding that we send. Now, anytime we send money anywhere else in the world, no matter where it is, you do always kind of wonder, is this actually getting where we want it to go? Is it doing the work that we want it to do? Are there measures in place to make sure that it's being handled well? Well, Ken's job is to do that for all of this work that we do in an incredibly rural and still very much recovering part of the world. And Ken's going to talk about that. But I mean, if you know anything about Angola, you know that it went through a really difficult and dark period. And in fact, when I went there, my mom called me when she found out I was going, and she's like, I don't think you should go there. And I'm like, Mom, the war's been over for 10 years. And she's like, I don't know. And of course it was fine. But there's still a lot of amazing work to be done, a lot of healing that needs to be done, a lot of trust that needs to be rebuilt. That's a big part of what we do as the church in that country. And a lot of it we do through the different ministries that Ken supports. So we've had a good chat this afternoon already, and it's been really a thrill to get to connect with him again. But I hope you will all give him a warm welcome to our church and give him a good listen, because he's got some good stuff to share.
Thank you very much, my dear brother, Jeremy. That has been a very powerful introduction. Let me first begin by saying that English is not my first language, so if I'm not clear, please feel free to ask me to repeat myself, and I'll be very happy to do so. As you've been told, my name's Ken Koome. Born and raised in Kenya, and serving in Angola, East Angola Annual Conference as the missions finance officer and development coordinator. I've served the board in a couple of other countries, Asia, South America, and Africa, and my background is finance. So that's the gospel that I preach. Thank you so much for having me here. It's indeed a great honor to be here. And coming back to Colorado is it's like my second home. You have mentored so many pastors from Kenya. You have also built a university in Kenya, helped, which I'm an alumni. So I feel very, very privileged. Without much ado, I want to bring you greetings. First and foremost from my family, my wife Faith, and our two daughters, Grace and Nerida, send their greetings. I also wish to bring you greetings from my bishop in East Angola Annual Conference, Jose Kipungu, as well as all the pastors that you support so dearly, they send their greetings to you. Do you receive them? Thank you very much. At least I delivered the message. From Angola, we bring you a message of hope. Jeremy just touched a little bit about Angola. He went there before me, and he went there when things were real tough. Angola is a country that has had a lot of problems. It's a country that still people continue to suffer. It's a country that needs all of us. But it's a country that through you have made us, or made the people there, believe that really there are people from other parts of the world that love them and who regard them as human beings. And that is why I bring you a message of hope. Angola was ruled by the Portuguese. And they started struggle for independence in 1962. And they fought as one brother, as one sister, to kick out one common enemy, the Portuguese. There were various political parties, and Angola in 1975 attained independence. The first United Methodist missionaries went to Angola in 1885 and established institutions of excellence in that country. Schools, hospitals, Bible schools, agricultural programs, name them. And when they attained independence in 1975, before dust settling down, that was the beginning of a terrible, terrible civil war. That's when brother turned against brother, neighbor and against neighbor. And that resulted into destruction of human lives, properties, churches, and the main targets were UMC institutions. Do you know the reason as why? Other institutions were also not spared. But what really they wanted to finish were the UMC institutions, because UMC missionaries, through their schools, were able to open people's eyes. The very best technocrats in the country were those sons and daughters that went through UMC schools, including the ever first president of the country. And they thought that now, if we do not really target UMC institutions, then it means that you'll continue training more people, and they are the people that are going to take all the positions in the government. This was just the devil working. Greed for power, greed for money. And even the major institution where Jeremy has visited, the Koome Mission Center, where the first missionaries settled and acquired land which is over 10,000 acres, where they set up institutions. Landmines were planted, everything was flattened to make sure the United Methodist Church will not continue training more personnel, more pastors, more executives, more politicians, because struggle for independence started in that mission. And the first political group, or the first set of people that really started agitating for independence, were sons and daughters of UMC. However, because of your support, because of your prayers, we can see light at the end of the tunnel. And it has been possible as a result of you being there for us. This is the message of hope that I bring you. I wanted to give you a brief background so that you know where we are coming from, where we are today, and where we are heading to. My laptop is feeling cold, Lord. Yeah, I just gave you greetings.
It caught up with you.
Yeah, that's my family. Just those are the people that send their greetings to you.
They're so pretty.
This is the continent of Africa, and this is Angola, where I'm coming from, and where Jeremy went to clear the ways for me. This small country is Kenya, where I'm coming from. This is just to give you an idea of where Angola is. Angola as a country is quite a big country, and in Angola we have two annual conferences, East and the West Angola Annual Conference. So I serve in the East Angola Annual Conference, though I still give support to the West when need arises. And the size of Eastern Angola Annual Conference is the size of Montana, Colorado, South Carolina. 3 of those states put together make up Eastern Angola Annual Conference. It's quite a big territory, and we have 6 districts. We have 6 districts within Angola, and also Namibia as a country. The work of United Methodist Church there is one district that is also supervised by the Bishop of East Angola Annual Conference. So in other words, we have 7 districts, and it's my responsibility because my work cuts across the entire conference. So let me thank you also for getting me a truck, which has helped me really to crisscross the entire annual conference in the course of my duty. Jeremy knows where I'm coming from. Yeah, when he was there, he really did a lot of walking.
Yeah.
What do I do? I just want you to understand some of my duties. There are many, but these are most. I coordinate UMC projects. What are these projects? You support us with Pastor Sally's support. We have like the women department. We have evangelism. We have help. All the projects and programs in the United Methodist Church in East Angola Annual Conference. I coordinate all their grants. I make sure the evaluations are done. If there are grant proposals to be done, it's my responsibility. So that's one of my functions. I also lead seminars, capacity building. Seminars like I train treasurers, church lay leaders, all on matters of finance and finance management throughout the annual conference. That's also part of my responsibility. I also assist with volunteers in mission. I am looking forward to hosting you. And when you will be coming, bringing VIM teams, when you will be coming as a VIM group, it will be my responsibility to make sure that your invitation letters are timely sent to you, to make sure that you are highly welcomed at the airport, to make sure that you are transported to the destination, to Keso or wherever that you will be going to serve, and to ensure that you are treated like kings and queens, like you have really done to me, and to really affirm that spirit of love, spirit of connection. So those are some of my responsibilities. Keso Methodist Mission Center. This is where Jeremy has been before. And as I said earlier on, in 1885 when the first missionaries came, that's where they set their base. We have over 10,000 acres of land, and institutions that were there were all destroyed. But I thank God today, in the last 5 years I've been there has been tremendous progress in rebuilding those institutions. I put this one just to remind us of the ruins that Jeremy found. And today, at least we have the high school in operation. We have the church. And permit me to tell you that in that community, Casework Center community, we have over 6,000 people. And 80% of them are children. Yeah, are children. Every Sunday in this church, we have between 600 to 800 children coming for Sunday school.
There you go, Carrie Ann. Where's Carrie Ann? Carrie Ann's her sister.
It's not a joke.
Talk about the children.
Yes, 600 to 800 kids coming for Sunday school. And over Christmas, we have 1,000 plus.
Wow.
You might ask me, how do they fit in this chapel? Yeah. The answer is very simple. Over the weekend, the classrooms are free. So what we do is we have Sunday school going on in the classrooms. We have primary up to high school, and that's where we distribute the classrooms. Then you must ask me, where do they get Sunday school teachers? Our students in high school who are in the boarding house have been very, very helpful to us. Those are the ones that assist us with Sunday school kids. And then, as you can see here, they are taking some food. In the last 2 years, we got a missionary colleague who is an agriculturist. And even before I get into that, food that was grown in the mission center before the Civil War actually was feeding almost the entire country. Keswa was known as the food basket for the country. A variety of food was grown in that piece of land, in that land. And we are trying to get back to where it was before, or even do better. However, in the last 2 years, we are still in the process. The journey of 1,000 miles has started, and we are walking towards the right direction through your support. Some of the food we grow is what we are giving to these kids. Angola, as you know, I'm sure when Jeremy was there, he was invited to a meal of cassava. I don't know how many of you know cassava here. Many of you don't know cassava. Where I come from in Kenya, we use cassava to feed our livestock. But in Angola, it's a delicacy. It's food. And this is food that has of no nutritional value at all, at all, at all. So we have high level of malnutrition amongst the children. High level diabetic cases, even amongst the little kids. So what we do is the little food that we give to these kids, what is grown in the farm, at least to give them some little protein, some little vitamins, at least to keep them moving over the week. And then in the last 2 years also, God blessed us. The alumni of this school gave us a small bus, minibus, because the kids come from different villages, quite far from the church. The driver will come early enough, will go to various points, pick the kids, bring them to church. After the service and after they have had a meal, then they are dropped to the various points, so that to ease their burden of walking. Because I'm talking of about months kids to up to 10 years, or oldest 11, 12. So these are kids, and those are kids that are not very strong. So that's some of the ministry we're involved in. So this is Casework Methodist mission, and I thank God we are getting back to where it was before, and we are endeavoring to go beyond that. Support for the pastors. Permit me to thank you most sincerely. Because were it not for your support, we'll not be talking of pastors in Eastern Angola Annual Conference. This is a country that is coming out of war. Institutions were demolished completely. The conference is not able to support the pastors with a little stipend. The churches under which they serve, I want to be very frank with you. In a Sunday, even to raise the equivalent of $5 will be by a miracle. So, how do we support our pastors? Families will take cassava to the pastor as food. Everybody is growing cassava. Even if the pastor was to sell some of that to buy like cooking oil and other things, who will buy from the other? So, the $50 that you send means a lot to us. You've been able to put a smile on their face. As you can see them, they look healthy. They look very healthy, and because it's a seed that you are planted unto them. And that's why we are able to have them serving faithfully to our members, to our Christians. And in the last 2 years, I introduced something in them. I told them, these are our friends who are planting a seed unto us. Then it's high time also we planted a seed to ourselves that will transform, help our families and other people. So what they are doing, some of them are, as you can see, they are very young. In the morning, they are going to high school. In the evening, they attend Bible classes in order to improve their skills, also to serve their congregations well. So this is some of the money they use to pay for their school fees or buy materials for school. Some have acquired skills like builders, to learn how to lay stones to build. And what happens is that over the week, they'll go to construction sites and get some work, some labor. So the little money they get, they are able to supplement your support. There's an influx of motorbikes and from China and the bicycles. Some of them are bicycle repairers. So what they do is the little income they get will be able to supplement your support. So as you can see, they are also doing something to improve their lives and those of their dependents and the communities they come from. Others are tailors. They have learned how to do tailoring. They have set up some little shops in the village where they are repairing clothes and making clothes also for their families. So we thank God for you, because were it not for that support, we could not be really having a reason to smile, as you can see from the pictures around here. And I thank you most sincerely for what you are doing for our pastors. Agriculture at United Methodist Mission Center. I said earlier on that before the Civil War, food grown in that mission center was eaten virtually in every part of the country. It was the food basket for the entire country. We have a missionary who is an agriculturist. He is from Congo and went to school in Africa University, a university that is supported by you. And I thank you because you helped him also get a truck for his ministry. This equipment you see here came from you. At least we are trying to get a little bit mechanized. You know, farming in Africa is manual. It's completely manual. But he's getting a little bit mechanized. And what he is doing is introducing to the communities new farming methods. Also, these are people that only grow cassava. He has introduced other foods. Beans, peas, sweet potatoes, vegetables of different varieties, fruits, at least to improve their diet. So he's doing a lot of seminars. These are a group of mothers that came for seminars. These are some of the people that he's training to do planting. These are nursery of a variety of fruit, vegetables that he's also giving to the communities to improve their diet. A member from this conference gave us 2 cows in the last 2 years, and they have since calved. We have 4 cows now, and we are looking forward to adding more. Actually, we have started fencing by faith, because we really want to have enough animal livestock to give milk to our families, to the kids, and also supplement our diets. We have now 11 goats and 5 sheep. We have some rabbits. So these are rabbits we feed our boys, our students in the boarding house, at least to improve on their proteins. The manure is very good. We want also from animals that we keep, the urea that we get to improve our soils, not always to use fertilizers. So something good is happening. This is a bump harvest for maize, corn. And the tractor you see here, we got some grant from you, some support to repair an old mission tractor that survived during the Civil War. So we are looking forward to getting a new one, at least to cut down on maintenance cost. But somehow, at least, we are able to beseech it slowly to how the product from the farm to pull the equipment. That the maintenance cost is quite high at the moment. We are not yet done with farming. We really want to make sure we use the entire 10,000 acres as much. The agricultural programs, what we do is rain-fed. In absence of rainfall, there's little much that we are doing. And we are blessed to have a small stream cutting across the farm. And we are planning to build reservoirs so that we can have water in those reservoirs. In absence of rainfall, we have continued growth of food. Also, we want to introduce fish farming, because fish farming is something is not hand off in Angola. And we want to at least introduce it and then also encourage the communities to start fish farming as a way of improving their diet. We also are planning to add more livestock, as I said. And then this year we've started training extension farmers with our own young people who are graduating from high school and they have no possibility of continuing with their education. So as a way of really turning around farming in Angola, not only in case of that community, because we want them to take agriculture very seriously, to do agriculture as a business, not just peasant farming for hand to mouth, because this is how they will be able to also earn some extra income to support their families. And these extension farmers are to go out and reach out to the communities, let them train the communities on the best farming practices and how they diversify their farming. And what we've done this year is, some of them complain of having no seeds and what have you. And we have started a seed bank, whereby you come, we lend you like a kilo of seeds, like maize or beans. Then when you harvest, you give us back the kilo we lend you as a way of trying to jumpstart you. But what is that? Because there's a tendency of, eating all. Sometimes we give the seeds and then they will eat even before planting. So with the help of the extension farmers, they will guide you, help you to make sure it's been planted. And even the seeds that you pay us back is really not payment, because these are people that have great need for money to pay school fees, medical care for their children. There's a possibility of them selling it all. Come rainy season, they have no seeds to plant. So they will come back again, we'll be keeping their kilo or 5 kilos of seeds they brought back, and then we give them again to go and plant, at least to sustain them, to keep them afloat, so that their families will not go hungry. So those are some of the strategies we have, and like this one, we have started it, and we do pray that it's gonna work and turn around the farming activity in Angola. Evangelization and rebuilding of churches. As I mentioned earlier, churches were not left behind, and this is a classic example of some of the churches we find in Angola. There are some congregations that even have no sanctuary, they worship under trees in the 21st century. But I thank God, because your support through the advance, we are able to at least put some safe structures. Communities, people are coming back now from towns where they ran away after 42 years of civil war. And they are coming to their villages where there are no churches, there are no homes and what have you. At least we are trying to get prepared as they come, at least they have somewhere to worship, some safe sanctuary of worship. And permit me to share something little about this. What really moved me, this was a group of 30 mothers, and you are peasant farmers and as hawkers in the streets. And they came together, bought a piece of land with their little contribution, and went into the villages where buildings were destroyed and got these materials, and put up that. And then I kept on hearing Emmanuel mothers. And then I said, I'll go and look for these mothers. I really want to see what is going on. Thank God for you got me a good track. I was able to wade through the slums. I went and visited them. And I was really struck. I found a group of mothers that want nothing else but want to see Christ with their families. And this is a sanctuary that even when you are sitting there, you are not sure, in case of some windstorm, everything might be blown off. And I got our strategy was, at least by next year, end of the quadrennium, we'll have moved to the church. I did know that our prayers went direct even before that. We made enough blocks, and contributions is enough for a bag of cement. We buy it, we started putting up the build. Every one of us became a builder. with the support of our 3 brothers who are professionals, as if to make the wall does not go zigzag. so from there, I'm telling you, friends, Christmas we celebrated in this building. This is where we are today. 3 weeks before I came, we put the wall, the floor. We were worshiping on dirty floor. We are able to lifted the walls, and now what is left is the windows and doors are now furnished. We are planning to do the wiring by faith, knowing that one day we are going to have electricity in that area, and we are planning to do plumbing to make sure that one day there's going to be piped water in that area, and our Christians, our members will not have what to worry, where to make their cup of tea or how to use the bathrooms. So this is the work of 30 mothers. This is a 200-seater church. We can seat 200 people. This is the work of 30 mothers. And other churches are borrowed a leave. This is one of them. The church, one of my pastor was here, Andre. This is Andre's church. And the church, what had happened was, before the war, they were building and it was left on the ground. After seeing this, he mobilized his members. And this is where we are. He has put the roof, left also the few things in the last 2 years. So this is really as a result of your encouragement, as a result of your prayers. Because you have shown us we are human beings, we can do it through Jesus Christ. And there we are. So don't be tired, continue praying for us, continue encouraging us, and I believe the Lord will continue blessing us in a mighty, mighty way. Imagine no malaria. This is something that sometimes I get a little emotional. Malaria is a pandemic. It's a great killer in Angola. Not only in Angola, in many parts of Africa, but here it's terrible. And you may live in a community where you do not know what ails of that community. It was not until it got me a truck that I realized the magnitude of deaths that are happening each and every day. The truck became an ambulance. The truck became a hearse. I could hardly pass. I can't remember when I slept from Monday to Friday without waking up in the middle of the night to rush a dying child to hospital or a parent, and then a day or two I'm called back to pick the body for burial. And this really hit me very hard, because these are some of the kids that come there to church. These are kids that I know, and losing them is like losing my own. It gave me nightmares. But God is a miracle worker. And what happened was, in the mission center, the government has helped rebuild an hospital that was destroyed. But this is a shell that has no medicine, no staff. And then I asked them, what do we do? It's still in the hands of the government. They are yet to hand it over to the church. They can't hand over something that has really, a shell that has no staff, a shell that has no medicine. So then what I did was, I remembered Global Health. You people support towards Homecom. I got in touch with them and told them, this is the elephant in the room. What do we do? And they were kind enough they asked me if there's any way you can make use of that facility in the mission. We can see how we help out. I talked to the Director of Medical Services, Professor Director of Medical Services, and said, well, Ken, if there's any support, I can get you a nurse or two who can now team up and at least, if anything, dispense some paracetamols, if not anything, at least to alleviate so much pain from our little kids that are passing on. And there we were. It was very welcome, to cut the long story short. And first and foremost, the thing that we did was to find the root cause. Because, treating alone without getting to the root cause of what sickness, it's just like treating the symptoms. And what we did, one thing, sanitation is a bad thing, is a bad issue there. Bushes, stagnant water all over, refuse disposal. So in collaboration with the village chiefs, we had to start a campaign against malaria. And what we did, we fell back to our own youths in the school, students in the boarding house, whom we trained as facilitators to help us pass on the message, to help us do training to the communities. Within that was quite a great success. Then we went into mosquito net distribution. And distributing mosquito net is not enough, because there you give every household, the following day you see young boys in the rivers using them for fishing. You see mothers having enclosures for their chicken and rabbits. And then what we did with the support of our youths, we went house to house hanging those mosquito nets and keeping records of each and every household and holding every household accountable for their mosquito net that is in their house. And right now, what we are doing is treatment. We are having some little medicine in the hospital, and we have seen the incidences of the mortality rate is going down. And we pray that with your support, with prayers, we are able to have the same activities going around the entire annual conference, and we are seeing a future where malaria in Angola is going to be a thing of the past. And I really want to thank you for your support towards UMCO, and because your gifts are coming back, are trickling down to us, and you're really changing lives. People of East Angola believe that God will bring about justice, reconciliation, peace, and prosperity. Exciting things are happening, and you get to be part of it. Thank you very much indeed. Just in case of any questions, I'm ready to answer them as long as they are not difficult ones. Those are the various advanced numbers for some of the projects. I have brochures around. These are for you to use. And among the advanced numbers, even the man before you, this is your missionary you sent from Kenya to Angola. So, and looking forward also to a covenant relationship with you. Thank you very much indeed. And any questions, I'll be glad to help.
Where do you get gas for the vehicles that you do have, the tractors and the tractor and the pickup?
Thank you. That's a good one. Yeah, where, you know, Angola produces gas, produces oil. They are the second largest producer in Africa. And also, there's a lot of mining. Unfortunately, oil, there is gas which is not cheap. And the country is blessed with resources, but corruption. And this is a country that has come from war. So people's self-esteem has been eroded. This is a country where still hearts are aching, and there's a spirit of individualism, or man for himself, God for us all. So that has made life very difficult, because you find trust is not there. If any, it exists in a vacuum.
I think one of the things that kind of forms a kinship for me with East Angola and what's going on there is, I mean, in a lot of ways, also it's the economy. It's like they have an economy that's run by oil and gas and agriculture. And I'm like, well, we know about that. Like, our economy is run by oil and gas and agriculture and what they have to deal with it. So yeah, they're an amazing oil producer. Most of that oil actually goes to China. So their strongest economic relationships aren't necessarily with us or in the U.S., but their strongest economic relationships right now are with China, and they bring a different value system. Let's just say it that way. To what's going on.
Ken, when you were talking about agriculture, and you talked about that this center has 10,000 acres. When you're trying to train these young people, these high school students, in agriculture, would it be practical to have to set up like a sharecropping relationship with that part of that 10,000 acres to let them grow and learn how to grow things, and then as they build up some money, they can move off and you could replace them with other younger people?
Yes, actually, that's where we are heading to. We've just begun, and what even these communities that are being trained, these are people that live within the mission center. These are people that are cultivating their farm, their land within the mission center. And what the missionaries did was, even when they bought land, they didn't buy them off. because they are part and parcel of the community. It was a way of outreach, and they are part and parcel of us. So what we're doing is that even the seed bank we've started, and it's not like really we are doing business with them. We want to improve their lifestyles, and we want to improve their lives. We want to improve the lives of their children. We want actually to break away from that, that continued lifestyle of poverty, physically and spiritually. So it's a kind of an outreach program that we have. And also, as you know, the conference cuts across divide many parts of the country. We want to replicate the same in other districts, not only within Keso. And what we're even trying to do, okay, there are some districts that are in areas that are not so good. They not have good land for either farming. We can introduce things like ranching and beekeeping to make sure that at least every part of the country of the conference is reached, as the government is also doing their own. And even as what we are saying, we are not only reaching out to the UMC members only, because in this community there are also members who does not belong to any church. When God gives us rain, He does not say it only falls to the farm of the Christian, it rains to all of us. So our lamp is on the table and shining to everybody. Yeah.
Do you, sounds like a very corrupt government. Do you have the opportunity to teach capitalism, economics, individualization, any of those kinds of more advanced, progressive kinds of governmental relationships, or is that a no-no?
Sorry. Angola's population is about 24 million today. And 80% of that population are children from 0 days to about 25 years. I am, at 45, I'm the oldest in the country. I'm one of the oldest. I'm one of the oldest in the country. So, and schools are in their infancy. Schools are in their infancy. In the sense that, we are beginning afresh. This is a country that was at war for 42 years. Those are 4 generations. So it's just like a ticking clock that stopped for 42 years. So nothing was happening. So we are beginning from the scratch, and we are dealing with people that are hurting, people that are so divided, people that are still painful, because you can even hear amongst the youth, I have nothing to do with that family. They are the ones who killed my parents and our grandparents. That's why I'm an orphan. That is, you feel it. You go to a church, you can even feel the cracks. Yeah, we are one, but people there's still that tension amongst us. Even sometimes people feel as if this peace is gonna not be sustained. But I thank God for one thing. There has been change of leadership. Of course, for over that 8 years, we have had one president. And it created like a dynasty, where the military guys were made so powerful, everything, for him to be protected. And high level of nepotism. I am here today, I have my wife, my daughter, my sons, my nephew, everything. You go to an institution, you just see one family. But we have our own brothers. The president and the vice president are our own Methodist sons. The vice president went to school in that case in Keso. Both of them are sons of pastors that were trained in Keso. And they have, in the last 2 years, actually they got into office last year. What they are doing, they are trying to bring about healing and reconciliation. And this is what they are doing. Regardless of the party that you come from, regardless of your tribal alliances, if you are skilled in this area, maybe you are a smart finance guy like my brother, and you are from the opposition party, he brings you on board to work together. So we believe that if this one is sustained, and God giving them a chance to rule this country at least even for 10 years, will really bring about healing, will bring about trust, and that coexistence. But right now, we are there, but you feel there's that enmity. Because we have a lot of orphans, Men were wiped out. We have so many single mothers that were left with children. So it is a very pathetic situation. So what we are saying is very right, but we have a long way to get there. There are first priorities that we need to deal with first. Because we are dealing with schools that have no adequate teachers, and even those teachers are half-baked. Institutions, directors of institutions, ministers, these are fellows that are either high school dropout or a few that maybe and tall relatives, and they came here as refugees and their children were able to get education. So personnel is an issue. And it's a country that is so enclosed, because it's just like Venezuela. If you are following the story of Venezuela, I mean, it's the same, it's a lip of that. Because Jeremy will bear me witness. You know, you going there even to help. First of all, they feel threatened by your presence, as if you have gone to take away what they have. They feel inadequate, so the best thing they do is to really make sure they curtail your entry there or make your life so difficult so that you give up. For us, some of us being there is just by the grace of God.
Well, we've got time for maybe one more question.
It's not a question, but I'm glad you mentioned the malaria, because we have supported, back when it was called Nothing But Nets, for many years from this church. And it just brought to mind that we were taking a group of youth to Belize on a mission trip. And the one thing I like to do is have everyone wear the same t-shirt when we're traveling, so I can keep track of everybody. And what we do is we do purchase the t-shirts that support, now it's called Imagine No Malaria, but back then it was Nothing But Nets. And that always sparked a lot of conversation from people that weren't aware of it. And so it was really good for me to hear that it is truly and honestly making a difference in supporting that throughout Africa.
Can we give one more hand for Ken and the amazing work that he does? So I think, we had a record Christmas Eve offering this year that went to support this ministry, which I'm very grateful for now. But I also want to take an opportunity to say, if you want to give, we will take your money. And so there are actually a couple of baskets over here if you want to give cash. If you want to write a check, you can write it to the church and put what on the memo, Jim?
Angola.
Angola, all right.
Put an A on there.
Yeah, Jim will get you there. And we will give that. We give it through the advance. If you don't know, the United Methodist Church through General Board of Global Ministries has this process called the advance, and then the advance is a way to give money through the general church that is highly accountable and make sure that things get to where they're supposed to go. So most of our money, like if you give it to us, we're going to turn it around and send it through the advance, and that goes through the General Board of Global Ministries. Will eventually get through Ken's office, and he was talking to me about his process, and I think you could rival Jim for your process. And I want to say just a couple things, about, to the point here too, part of what the church is doing in having someone like Ken there is modeling another way of acting, a way that kind of crosses the borders of the tribalism and everything else that happens and says, no, and is trying to show through real practical hands-on work, like how do you handle money with integrity and how do you make sure you do things the way that you're supposed to do them and all of that. So that's part of what the church is doing, is that we are modeling through how we act a different way to live. I think another thing that really struck me when I was in Angola, a couple of things, was one is part of the reason why, and we have to kind of own this here as Americans, part of the reason why the Civil War was as bad as it was is because America supported one side and Russia supported another. And we armed one side and they armed another side. So part of the reason it was as bloody as it was and as terrible as it was is that we did not help that situation. So I like that we now get to be a chance of bringing health and healing to a place where we were not doing that before. So I think that's amazing. I think the other thing is when we think about the agricultural side of things, and I just just can't imagine, for those of us who have any experience in farming, what it looks like to do that mechanically or, by hand, because you don't have the kind of tools that we have. Now, one of the benefits of not doing it by hand is it's slower, so you have a better chance of actually seeing the landmines that possibly could be there. This is a real, legitimate, and honest concern in a country that, for a time, was considered the second most landmined country in the world, next to the Korean border. And of course nobody knows where these things are, so you find them in oftentimes tragic ways. Now, Keswa, they've done an amazing work at Keswa to make sure Keswa is safe, so that when they farm and ranch there, they have a reasonable idea that nobody's going to get hurt. But it's still a common occurrence when people are farming and tilling ground that maybe hasn't been tilled in a while, to run across things they don't plan to run across. So, I can just imagine what that must be like. And I just want to kind of end you with this thought. When I think about, especially when I think about, for us, what has become kind of our third principle. We can't do everything, so we're going to do something. The ministry that has happened in Angola is such a living embodiment, an inspiring embodiment of that. Like, it's a country that's got so much going on, that's so hurt, it's so broken in so many ways. It feels overwhelming when you're there, and then you say, well, let's just take what we have and start making bricks. And if we do that enough, then maybe we'll have a building. And if we have a building, then maybe we can have a school, and maybe we can have a hospital. And I love we're gonna put in wiring in hopes that someday, in faith, that there'll be electricity to hook it up to.
Now, was this all done pretty much with women?
Yeah, the women.
Amen.
Amen for the women. So I just think I think it's a great thing for us, and so I hope you are all inspired. So please, help yourself to some treats and some snacks. Meet with Ken, have a conversation with him. He'd love to talk with you. If you want to write a check tonight, or if you want to put some money, put it in the plate or in the bowls over here. If you want to put money in the plate on Saturday and write Angola on it, we'll get it where it needs to go. Sunday. You come on Saturday. I don't know what it is on Saturday. But Sunday. If you want to come on Sunday, you can do that. But again, I just want to say, Brother Ken has been itinerating around this area for a month. Given this spiel, trying to build up relationships with us in this area, so it's just a real blessing you're with us. So thank you. Ken, I sent an email with this. Ken is looking for somebody tomorrow around 2 o'clock who's willing to take him shopping. So if you would like to spend some more time with Ken, asking him all kinds of good stuff and going shopping for ministry, I'm making shopping a ministry for you. Look how I give. Talk to me and we can figure that out. But otherwise, just one more time.